Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a story that holds many secrets. The House of Mysteries. The old mansion stood on a solitary hill on the outskirts of a small town called Oakhaven. Its windows, like blind eyes, watched life pass with an unsettling stillness, promising secrets to anyone brave enough to approach. For generations, the locals simply called it the House of Mysteries. Nobody knew for sure who had lived there or why they had abandoned it so abruptly. The great mystery surrounding the mansion was the disappearance of the Montgomery family, who vanished one night without a trace, leaving everything they owned behind. The stories, whispers from the elders, and children's legends spoke of shadows that moved in the windows and of wails that the wind carried from its depths. It was said that the house was haunted, that the Montgomerys roamed its halls, unable to find peace. But for me, the house didn't inspire fear, but a burning curiosity. I, an aspiring writer, saw it as an unfinished novel, the chance to unearth a real story, to put an end to a puzzle that had captivated my town for decades, was a call I couldn't ignore. One autumn afternoon, with the sky the color of lead, I mustered the courage and headed towards the mansion. The wrought iron fence was rusty and broken, and the weeds tangled at my feet like a ghost's hands. The atmosphere became colder and thicker with every step I took. The main gate, a heavy door of carved oak, yielded with an agonizing groan. A cloud of dust and a smell of mold, of time, and of old books welcomed me. Inside, an immense foyer stretched out in the gloom. It was dominated by a majestic staircase whose railings twisted like dead vines. On the walls, the faces in the paintings were hidden by thick layers of dirt, and cobwebs hung from the chandeliers like mourning decorations. Each of my steps echoed in the silence, breaking the quiet that had ruled the place for so many years. My first stop was the library. Thousands of dusty, forgotten books filled shelves that reached the ceiling. The air was heavy, impregnated with the scent of ancient paper and leather. It was there, on a dust-covered desk, that I found the first clue: a leather-bound diary, apparently intact. The first pages of the diary were written in elegant, delicate handwriting. They were from a woman named Eleanor. Her words didn't speak of ghosts, but of the loneliness she felt in the house and of her love for astronomy. She described a secret room, her private observatory, a place that her husband, an architect, had built just for her. As I read, a shiver ran down my spine. It wasn't fear. It was the feeling of invading an intimacy. I heard a creak upstairs, but I convinced myself it was the wind seeping through a broken window. The house was whispering its secrets to me. With the information from the diary, I went up the majestic staircase to the second floor. The large master bedroom was a sanctuary of sadness. An old wedding dress lay on an unmade bed, its lace yellowed and fragile. At the foot of the bed, a wooden chest held letters tied with a blue ribbon. In one of the letters, Eleanor's husband described the sadness of a business trip that took them apart. He promised that, upon his return, he would take her to see the stars from the secret room. But his words were those of a forced farewell, a goodbye that portended a tragedy. The key to the mystery wasn't in death, but in absence. Guided by the diary's instructions, I located a bookshelf in the library that seemed out of place. When I moved it, a hidden mechanism released a false wall. Behind it, a narrow corridor led to a small, circular room in the tower. Eleanor's Room of the Stars. Upon entering, the afternoon light filtered through a glass dome, illuminating an antique telescope and a collection of star maps. There were no ghosts, no rituals, just a place of peace and loneliness, where a woman in love watched the stars, longing for her husband who never returned from his trip. The family didn't disappear. The husband died at sea, and she, unable to bear the pain in the house of her love, abandoned it. I left the mansion with the diary in my hand, leaving behind the silence of the house and its revealed history. The house would remain the same for the town of Oakhaven, a place of legends and ghosts. But for me, it was no longer the House of Mysteries, but the mausoleum of a broken heart, a beacon of memory. The house had found someone to tell its true story, and I had found mine. If you liked today's story, give us a like, subscribe to the Apex of Shadows channel, share, and write in the comments if you have ever visited this place. See you soon.